Let's start. My name is Yevgen Lyashov. I am Ukrainian from Paris. I work in Paris in Medsys. Medsys is a consulting company, so we provide IT services and IT projects for enterprise customers. So I am Microsoft MVP Enterprise Mobility, and I have about 15 years of experience. My focus is device management and monitoring. So I work with System Center Configuration Manager a lot of, and it's an on-premise solution. And now we are moving to the cloud. As you know, cloud first, mobile first. So it's again about device management. So also I work with Microsoft EMS, Enterprise Mobility and Security. And today I will provide you a session about how to manage devices and applications using a cloud service, Microsoft Azure Intune. Okay. I prepared a lot of slides. Usually I prefer to explain how it works and then show how it works. But when I checked time, I understood that I cannot provide you slides and demo as well in 1 hour. So I decided to start from demo, because I'm not a sales manager, I'm not a marketing manager, I'm a guy from IT fields. I visit customers every day, I do a lot of projects, so I know a lot of buttons, settings, and how to click it, yeah, and to get a result. So we will start from the demo, and then if at the end of the demo I will have some free time, we will switch back to the slides, and I will explain you some theory, some details, how it works. Everyone hears me well? Yeah, everything's okay? So let's start. Just a few slides, and I'm switching to the demo. Previously, maybe yesterday or today, yeah, I'm talking about traditional management. I say previously because now we are moving to the cloud, it's obviously. What do we have? What we had, maybe, or what we have. Local domain controller, some on-premise services like, I don't know, terminal services, file services, print servers, I don't know, SQL, Exchange, SharePoint, everything is on-premise. We have Windows 7, Windows 8 or 10 as a primary device for the endpoint user. We manage it via Active Directory and via group policies. If you need to, guys, feel free to sit, no worries. So, and if we need to manage it, we can use System Center Configuration Manager. If we need to install something, for example, packages, drivers, applications, updates, operating systems, we use Configuration Manager as well. So now we are moving to the cloud, and fortunately or unfortunately, today user has more than one device. Yeah, and it may be not a laptop, not a PC. It can be tablet or mobile phone. So user can do some tasks when he flies, when he travels in the train, or I don't know, maybe he's a sales manager or a field engineer, and he travels around the world. So, and for example, I have 2 laptops. I have 4 Windows phones and also Android and iOS. So I have 4 mobile devices and 2 laptops. And we need to manage it. How we can do it? We can do it via Active Directory, but based in the cloud, via Azure Active Directory. Then we can use Azure Intune to manage our devices, and we can protect information like documents or emails using Azure Information Protection. Talking about Intune, if you have Windows 7 and if you want to manage Windows 7, for example, I don't know, you're a big company, you have a lot of branches, and your network connectivity between branches and central site is so, yeah, is very low. Yeah, for example, I have an experience with a customer who has maybe 15 branches around the world, and in Afghanistan, and no, Serbia, Australia, Canada, and in every branch, customer has 3-5 computers. It makes no sense to have an on-premise infrastructure for this case. Yeah, to install a domain controller, to install some local services like Exchange, SharePoint, SQL, and so on. So in this case, it's better to use Intune. So we call it Intune standalone, yeah, as a cloud service, standalone cloud service, because we can configure Intune together with configuration manager, system-centered configuration manager. We call it Intune hybrid. Yeah, when you can manage your devices on premise and mobile devices. Today I'm talking about Intune standalone. So if you have Windows 7, you need to install a FAT client to Windows 7 or maybe Windows 8, up to you. And it looks like this. Yeah, it's an old Intune Classic console based on Silverlight. So it's based on Silverlight. So it's Intune hybrid, yeah, when you have domain joined computers and you want to manage mobile devices, but using only one console, configuration manager console, so you can configure integration between configuration manager and mobile devices. And also we have Intune standalone, cloud only, Azure Intune. So it's a new console in Azure, so you can do everything with your devices. I mean, when I say device, I'm not talking about Windows computer, yeah? So device can be Windows 10 laptop, Android tablet, or iPhone. So it's up to your endpoint user what he wants to use, yeah, to do some tasks, yeah. So devices means everything you can use. Clear? Okay. Supported operating system. So for FAT Intune client, we support Windows 7 and later. If you don't need to support Windows 7, so you can use Azure Intune instead of Intune Classic. And we use MDM, yeah. So mobile device management. We support Apple iOS, Android 4.0 and later, Windows 10, Windows 8.1, and Mac OS X. So everything. Yeah. So cloud first, mobile first, and demo first. So I have a lot of slides, and we don't have a lot of time. So I believe it's better to show you how it works than explain how it works. Because if you want to know how it works, you can read the documentation. You didn't come here for boring slides. Okay. Today I will talk about Intune and Intune application protection. What I have here, I have some devices. As you see, it's 3 Windows 10 devices. They are virtual computers, and I have one enrolled to Android. It's a real device. Okay, and we have some other devices, but they are not enrolled into our Intune. So we have my Windows 10, my Android, as well as we have a laptop, Android Samsung, and my Yevgen's iPhone. Okay, they are not enrolled, and we cannot check compliant. But some of them compliant, some of them are not. Let me show you what I mean. So let's start from device compliance. What we can do? We can create some policy to check if device compliant or not. For example, Android pin required. We don't have a lot of settings, so it's a basic settings. It's not a configuration settings. We do not configure our device. We check if device compliant. I can check if device rooted or how you call it, jailbroken. Yeah, thank you. What else? We can check the minimum or maximum operating system version. And also I want to check if device has a pin code. Yeah, if device has no pin code, so with minimum 4 digits. Yeah, so this device is not compliant. We can do everything. We can do the same for other platforms. For example, for iOS, I believe I can check more settings. So again, we can require a password. I can block simple passwords. In this case, I do not. Minimum operating system version. What else I check? Yeah, and I block jailbroken devices. And for Windows 10, for example, I check if device is encrypted. So I require encryption. Everyone hears me well? Yeah, everything's okay? Okay, great. So I check if device is encryption. And here, as you see, our user 5, yeah, it's a test users for my demo, has 2 devices, Android and Windows 10 number 3, and compliance status error. So it means that this device is not encrypted. And let me show you what I mean. Yeah. You see encryption needed. My device is not encrypted, so BitLocker is not enabled. And in this case, we see that device is not compliant. If I want to make this device compliant, so I need to start encryption. So I leave it like it works now for the demo, because if I encrypt this device will be compliant. Yeah. It's not good for a demo to show you how it works. Okay. We can create some notifications to the endpoint user. If device not compliant, we can inform him via email that his device not compliant before making a device non-compliant. If device is not compliant, we can block an access to some services, for example, to Exchange Online, because we do not trust this device. If device, for example, is not protected by PIN code, we cannot trust user with this device, because I don't know, he can visit a pub, he can drink a lot of beer, yeah, then he loses his device, yeah, and everyone can read corporate emails, for example, or can have an access to corporate data, for example, I don't know, SharePoint or OneDrive, etc. Yeah. So it's better to inform him before, and then we have some actions. Yeah. Let me show you this really cool feature was released, I believe, maybe just 1 or 2 weeks ago. So what we can do, we can mark device non-compliant, or we can send email to end user immediately if device is not compliant. We give him 4 days before making this device non-compliant. Okay, so we can give him some time to, I don't know, to set up a PIN code, for example, or to encrypt his device. Okay, what's next? Clear? Device compliance? No questions? Great. Device configuration. I have a lot of profiles to show you. We can create, I will not show you step by step. So how we can create a device configuration profile. So we choose a platform. Yeah, for example, I don't know, Windows 10. We choose a type. So we can restrict, we can block some settings, access to some settings. We can configure email. We can configure additional upgrade. We can deploy Wi-Fi or VPN certificates and profiles. We can configure Windows Defender, etc. I don't know what. Okay, Windows restriction, configure, and here you have some settings that you can configure using graphical user interface. It's not, obviously, there are not a lot of features you can configure. Okay, I will show you what you configure. what you can configure using custom profiles. So here we have some basic settings. Now you can click General, and you can what else? You can block camera, for example, yeah, or OneDrive file sync, or phone reset, or Cortana, everything you want. I don't want to configure it. I do not save. Or you can configure Edge. You can require a clear browsing data on exit. You can require sync favorites between Microsoft browsers. You can block autofill. You can block extensions, etc., etc. Not a lot. And let me come back to my profiles, what I configured. So let's start from Android. Some settings were basic, so I just block a camera. So I do not allow user to take photos if he wants to take a photo of some sensitive documents. We don't have a lot of settings for Android, but we have a lot of settings for iOS. And I showed you just a few seconds ago Windows. Here we have for iOS more settings, so I can block a screen capture, I can block device name modification, I can block configuration profile changes, built-in apps. What I do here, let me show you. Okay, I block some services like podcasts, music service, camera, Siri, etc., etc. And the most interesting part, I believe, is custom settings. Okay, BitLocker. I configured some settings for BitLocker. Just a few, or maybe not. Yes, I did not, but let me show you. Yeah, so we can configure BitLocker. Oh no, it's better to. We can configure BitLocker, and we can enable some settings for BitLocker, minimum pin length. We can check a TPM on startup. Are you familiar with BitLocker? No? Some of you. Okay. And also I have a lot of custom profiles. For example, Windows default apps. I cannot configure default apps from the graphical user interface, but I can use all my URI settings, so it's looks beautiful, right? So let me switch to CP. I have all the slides for CPS and a lot of explanations how it works. So you can find all the information in the official documentation. So configuration service providers allows you to create or modify or save or delete some additional settings for the operating system, what you cannot configure via graphical user interface. With every new release, 1607, 1703, 1709, etc., etc., Microsoft publishes more and more features that you can configure. And how it works, let me show you. I have some beliefs of slides here. Yeah, how it works. So you have a, let's say, a path, a path to the setting, and what you can enable. You can find this information in the documentation. For example, in this case, I can allow extensions for the Microsoft Edge, or I can disable it. Yeah, 0 not allowed, 1 allowed. Okay. Let me switch back. Okay, what I want to configure here, I want to configure default application association. Yeah, it's a path for the setting. As you see, it's a vendor, so it's a Microsoft policy configuration. We configure application defaults and we configure associations. So it looks good, I believe. So what I did, I configured applications by default, Then I exported this information to XML file. I converted this XML file and I just copy pasted it here. When you check default applications, come on. Okay, here you see, for example, that I configured the group music for music player, maps for maps, yeah, photos for photos, and Outlook 2016 for email. Okay, so everything is here. You can do it easily with PowerShell. I mean, you can export this information to XML, as you see, photos, group music, photo viewer, Microsoft Edge. What else? Where is our Outlook? Okay, Outlook is here. Oops. Let me close it and show you more. Guest account. I cannot disable guest account from graphical user interface from Azure Intune. I cannot rename it, but I can find a CPS. I can find the CPS again here in the documentation. Yeah, okay, great. So everything is explained in documentation. So I can find a path, let's say a path to the settings. So we work with local policy security options. We can enable guest account or disable. So what is supported? Windows 10 Pro, Business, Enterprise, and Education. What 3 means? Okay, let me copy paste it. Let's see our agenda. Let me scroll down. Okay, 3. So this settings was added for Windows 10 1709. Okay, so 1607 or 1703 doesn't support it. 0 means guest account is disabled. 1 means guest account is enabled. Very easy. So here I disable my guest account and I rename guest to some blah blah blah. Yeah. And let me show you the device status. So we have 3 Windows 10 computers. Deployment status error. It means that. So I know that it means the settings is not applied to these 2 devices because it's a Windows 10 1703, and this one, Windows 10 number 3, this deployment status succeeded, is my Windows 10 the latest insider preview operating system. So here, guest account is disabled because it's supported. It's disabled, but it's not renamed. And here, okay, it's disabled and renamed. Looks great. Come on. What's next? So we can configure, for example, Internet Explorer homepage. I can do it. I can configure homepage for Edge by using Azure Intune GUI, graphical user interface, but I cannot do it for Internet Explorer. What I do here, the same. What I need to do, I found a path. Yeah. In this case, it's not a device, it's a user, then vendor, Microsoft policy. We configure Internet Explorer and we disable home page change. And it's a value. Yeah. So I configure google.fr as a home page for Windows 10. As you see, it's configured. And some settings are managed by your system administrator. So as an endpoint user, I cannot change it. Yeah. What else? Restrictions. Okay, start menu. Again, if I want to configure a start menu, I can do it. So I can do it via CPS, via our configuration service providers. So I can configure it for user, its configuration for start and start layout. What I do, I prepare Windows 10 start menu. I want to have start menu like this. I export via PowerShell this configuration to XML file. Let me show you. To XML file, as you see, OneNote, Outlook, Groove, PowerPoint, WinWord, Excel, and nothing more. Then I copy paste this information into my Azure Intune, into this setting, and I have here a pre-configured start menu. Yes, in most cases. It's better to have a test device and see how it looks, than do something, then deploy the settings and check that it doesn't work. Yeah. So I cannot say that you have to configure every settings for the test device, because for example, for Internet Explorer homepage, you don't need to export this information into XML and then copy paste this XML to Azure Intune. But in this case, yeah, I need it. So it depends on the settings. Okay. Also, I can manage updates via graphical user interface, but I cannot configure a lot of settings, and I want to configure a schedule installation day and value 7. I don't remember what is it. Maybe it's a Saturday. I believe it's Saturday, but I'm not sure. So I want to install updates only on Saturday, and I do it via configuration service providers. Okay, enough. I believe it's a bit boring stuff. So let me show you mobile applications. So you can configure some settings, as I explained you before, and you can deploy applications to your devices. Again, I'm not talking about Windows or Windows 10. Yeah, I'm talking about device. So you can configure applications for different operating systems like iOS, Android, or maybe Windows 10. Here I have a lot of different applications with different types. What I can do, I don't know, for example, for Android. Yeah. For Android, I can publish a link to Google Play. You see, it's just a link to Adobe Reader. And if user wants to install Adobe Reader, he just opens a company portal, Intune company portal, and he will be redirected from his company portal to Google Play. He doesn't need to search this application. Yeah. What else? I can upload for Android, for example, real APK files. Do you know what is APK? Yeah, it's an application for Android. It's a standalone application. Yeah, so like I don't know, exe file for Windows or MSI. Yeah, so I found this file in the internet. You can upload from your computer to your Azure Intune this file, and then you can publish this application to your users. You can assign to a specific group of users, and with different types of installation: available, not applicable, required, uninstall, or available with or without enrollment. In this case, it's required. I cannot push this application to Android, even if it's a required application. But every time when user uses his Android, he will see a pop-up on his Android that he has to install this application, and he cannot remove this pop-up until he installs this application. Okay, clear? What else? I can integrate Microsoft Store for Business with my Azure Intune, and I can use applications that are published in Microsoft Store for Business. I can install standalone MSI packages, so the same as Android. So device status, you see, installed, everything looks good. As you see, I just downloaded MSI file from the internet. I uploaded it. I provide some information, image, and I don't know what else. Device installation status. This application was installed for Windows 10 #1 by this user. And that's it. How it looks like. Yes, sure.
You had Outlook for Microsoft in Android platform?
Outlook?
Yes.
Yeah, good question, thank you.
Because I think it's not working.
No, so what I did as for Windows, yeah. For Windows, you can, as you see, it was installed successfully on 2 computers. I like this dashboard. Device install status. I installed on 2 computers, Windows 2 and Windows 3. It's Office 365. And you configure this from the graphical user interface. Yeah, from here. You can choose what you want to install. In this case, I install everything except Publisher and Access. Some information right now. And some settings. And in this case, I install Office 64 bits. Update channel monthly. And I automatically accept end-user license agreements. I believe technically you can, but I didn't do it before because no one installs full Office for Windows 10. Usually we install Office 365. Yeah, but you can try. Okay, and where's my company portal? So on my company portal, so it's default Windows 10 application. Yeah, for Windows 10. I have some applications that are published to this user. Tune in radio, for example, 7-zip, Google Chrome, Messenger, everything you want. Yeah, and, as well as Office 365. If I want to do it, if I want to install Office 365 on my computer, I just click install and that's it. Yeah.
That's for PC, but I asked for Android.
For
work. It's not the same case.
You asked me for Android and Windows. Yeah, I showed you for Windows. Let me show you for Android application type. It's a store. You can play both. So you can publish a link, or you can upload to Intune standalone file for iOS, IPA for iOS, IPK for Android, and MSI for Windows. Yeah, or you can publish a link. Up to you. So it depends on the situation.
But the user must install it.
Can be forced to install, or the user needs to install it at the end, or it can be deployed without user.
Yeah, you can. For Android it doesn't work. You cannot push an application to Android, but for Windows, yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Okay, I don't know. Outlook. You provide a name. I don't know. Description. Okay. Outlook publisher. Microsoft App Store URL and mini operating system. I don't know. Okay, 5.0. And here you need to provide a link to Google Play. Let me check if I can find Google Play. Oops. That's what you need to do. Okay? Clear? Good. Okay, so I have a lot of applications. I showed you how it works. Also, you can install some drivers if you have a MSI package. So you can install applications, and you can install drivers or firmware to your Windows 10 if you have MSI packages. What I wanted to show you also, devices. Okay, devices. What we can do with our devices. As you see, I have 3 enrolled Windows and 1 enrolled Android. When I choose my device, I can remove company data, I can do a factory reset, I can sync policy remotely, so I can ask computer to connect to Azure Intune and sync a new policy. I can run a quick scan or full scan for antivirus. I can restart it. What else? So I have some basic information about this. So I have associated user, device name, compliance status, operating system, etc. Some information about hardware. Not a lot because it's a Hyper-V computer. Information about discovered apps. Some applications. Device compliance. No data. And device configuration. I have some settings, and as you see, state succeeded. So settings was applied correctly or error. So this computer, for example, a Windows 10 guest account, I cannot rename this account, so that's why I have a state error. What else? Conditional access. You can protect, and let me show you a demo in a few minutes. You can protect an access to every cloud application, publish it on-premise application, and enterprise applications for your users. So if device is not compliant, or if maybe you require a MFA, or maybe device tries to, not the device, users tries to get an access from untrusted location. Yeah, for example, user works from, I don't know, from Canada, and in a few minutes he wants to check his corporate email from Germany. So obviously it's not true, it's not possible, yeah, to fly in 5 minutes from Canada to Germany. So it means that we have some problems with his credentials. So, and we can block an access if user jumps from one country to another country, and if he does it every 10 seconds. What we can do for Android? Let me show you. I have a recorded demo for you. So I choose a list of users or group of users. I choose a cloud application. In this case, I select Office 365 Exchange Online. I can choose any cloud applications or enterprise applications like Box, Adobe Creative Cloud. What else? What I have here? SurveyMonkey. Everything you have. Or some Microsoft applications or on-premise applications like this one. So I published my configuration manager IIS to the internet using Azure application proxy. Yeah, so it's on-premise application. It's my on-premise IIS, and I can protect users from untrusted applications. So, for example, I can give him an access only from a trusted IP addresses. Okay, in this case, I choose Office 365 Exchange Online, and I have some conditionals. Device platforms: Android, client applications, browsers, and mobile applications. And I grant an access to Exchange 365 Online from Android only if my device marked as compliant, if everything is okay with my device. And another part of the story is mobile application management. What I want to protect? I want to protect Exchange Online. I say that user can access Exchange Online only from applications we can manage. Yeah. In this case, it will be Outlook. So if user uses, I don't know, a third-party application from his Android, for example, Gmail account, or, not account, sorry, Gmail application or any other application, so we block it. Because we cannot protect Gmail application. We cannot set up a PIN code, we cannot encrypt it, we can do something with Gmail application, okay? So I allow users to use Outlook only for Exchange Online. As well as I have some application policy for Android. Let me show you what I mean. We can protect our policy. We can specify some settings for different applications. In my case, it's Outlook, but we can do it for Planner, for Skype for Business, for Yammer, for Excel, for OneDrive, for every Microsoft applications. And what we have here in policy. So I can prevent Android backups. I can prevent save as. Yeah. I can restrict cut, copy, and paste with other apps. So I can give a user an ability to copy information, for example, from Outlook only to Excel, because we can manage Outlook and we can manage Excel or OneDrive, but we cannot manage Twitter or Facebook. So if user has some sensitive data in his email, he cannot copy paste this data to Facebook, yeah, but to Word or to Excel he can. Okay. I want to encrypt application data. I require a PIN code for his Outlook. In this case, it will be Outlook. Yeah. If user loses his device because he drank a lot of beer tonight, and he loses his Android device in a restaurant, someone tries to get access to corporate data, and he needs to provide a PIN code for Outlook, not a PIN code for a device, but for Outlook as well. Okay, I require 4 digits length. And what else? Okay, it's enough, I believe. So what we have, how it works together. We have Intune device compliance settings for Android. So I require, so I block a rooted device and I require a PIN code. Yeah. We have Intune conditional access. So I say that user with Android can get an access to Exchange 365 online only from compliant device. I protect Exchange Online from any other third-party applications, and I protect Outlook. So let's show me the demo, and hope you will see. So we have a Gmail application. I want to set up my corporate email. Yeah, I want to add my corporate email and read my corporate emails from Gmail application. I provide a very complex security password. I provide a server for Exchange 365. So Outlook Office 365.com requires to manage some settings. Okay, I give these permissions. I click activate. I click next. Okay, everything looks good. I choose take me to Gmail, and what I have here, I have the only one email. Yeah, let me pause this video. So, and this email says that I can have an access to my corporate data only from Outlook. Okay, and if I want to have an access to Exchange 365, I have to install Outlook. I click this link, I am redirected to Google Play. I install Microsoft Outlook, and I open Outlook. So I want to set up Outlook for my corporate email. I provide the same settings.
Can I ask you a question while we're watching? When you specify condition that the device has to be encrypted on Android, does encryption do the whole memory or only part of the memory that has data?
The whole device.
The whole device. Because when you plug in the phone via USB, you can see private.
If you have time, I will show you the settings. Yeah, so we can encrypt. We can encrypt the company data. I mean, we can encrypt everything that is inside Outlook. Yeah, or we can require to encrypt the device.
When you do encryption of the whole device.
Yeah.
I can't see the work portion that's encrypted, but I can see the private part. That's why I'm asking you. And it looks like it's not encrypted, the whole part, just one half of the memory.
Okay, we can discuss it later. I will show you the settings in Azure Intune. Okay. Are you following? Yeah. That I had to install company portal, and now I see that mass device must be enrolled and mass device must be compliant. So I need to provide a PIN code, maybe, or to encrypt my device, etc., etc. You see, it's quite complicated for the endpoint user to get company data, even to get a company data from his third-party application like Gmail. So I enroll my device, okay, it's okay, and then I need to set a passcode. I tap continue. My current password is too short. So my password must be 6 characters as minimum. As you see, I have a pop-up here, secure your device. So I need to set up a passcode, and the same situation for Android required application. So user sees the same pop-up that he needs to install antivirus, for example. Okay, I provide my former PIN code. It was 4 characters. Now I have to set up a 6 characters PIN. Then I check compliance again if my device is compliant, and my device must be marked as compliant if I want to have an access to Exchange 365. Okay, now it works. I click done. I come back to Outlook, and I want to set up it again. I provide my account again. In this case, I don't need to provide a password, I believe. I tap skip. I don't want to add another account. Again, I tap skip. And I want to have my emails. In this case, I cannot, because I must provide a PIN code for Outlook, not for a device. I did 1 minute ago. I must provide a PIN code for Outlook.
You set up,
Huh?
you set up sign on before you set up.
Give me a second. So now I have an access to my corporate email, okay? And it's very secret information. And what I want to do, I want to check how my security settings works. So what I want to do, I want to copy paste this very sensitive information to, I don't know, to my friends. Yeah. Why not? I copy it. I open Twitter. And I want to paste it in a Twitter in this case. I click paste, and oops, I cannot. I think everything is not configured in the proper way. Maybe I did a mistake. I want to paste it again, and again it doesn't work. So that's it. So that's how it works. Yeah. Okay. So if we finished, I believe. As I told you, I had no time to show you my presentation, but anyway, I believe demo was better than boring slides. If you have questions, feel free to ask me.